events are two or more simple events. So it consists of two or more simple events. Okay, so this example, and I'm only going to do one example of compound events. This example is going to be we're going to toss a quarter, nickel, and dime. When I toss a quarter, what options do you have? Two. What are they? Heads or tails. If I toss a nickel, what options do I have?
Heads or tails.
If I toss a dime, what options do you have?
Heads or tails.
So does it actually matter that it's a quarter, nickel, and dime?
No.
Okay. So if you were to, let's say on a homework assignment, have a problem that says something about flipping a coin twice, does it matter that it's the same coin? No. Okay, it doesn't matter that it's the same coin or if it's a quarter and a nickel, right? Because you're still only going to have the same options, heads and tails. Okay?
Even on a pen question.
Is it going to be on or off topic?
Sort of both. It's about flipping a coin.
But I'm feeling it's not going to relate to probability.
Well, it is kind of.
Can you wait till the end of this problem?
No.
Yes? Okay.
Wait.
All right. Is it going to be on topic?
Yes. Technically, the probability could change when you switch coins because some are bigger and easier to flip than others.
But the outcome does not change.
It could.
But it doesn't.
It could.
But it does.
It doesn't. But if you magically
Okay.
on the little side thing. Jeremy.
We're going to start with our quarter.
Does that count as an outcome?
Or coin one, whatever you want to call it. What options do you have for your quarter? Trey.
Heads or tails?
Heads or tails? Okay.
It's a tails.
Now I'm going to move to my nickel. If I landed on heads for my quarter, what options do I have for my nickel? Heads or tails?
Do we
Wait,
write it
nickel is spelled with an E.
No.
Wait, why do you write H and T on top?
I have no idea. I'm sorry, I really don't.
Oh, yeah, it is, but for the L's, they
It's
spelled
E.
nickel wrong.
No, I didn't. Okay.
I thought it was right.
If I flipped my coin and I landed on tails the first time, what options do I have for my nickel? Or, okay, I'm moving on to my dime. If I landed on heads for my quarter and heads for my nickel, what options do I have for my dime? What if I landed on heads and then tails?
Tails head.
I still have heads or tails. Okay, if I landed on tails for my quarter and then heads for my nickel, what options do I have for my dime?
Tails head. Tails.
If I landed on tails for my quarter, tails for my nickel, what options do I have?
Tails head.
There is no difference in the order. Blake,
But if you magically landed on its side, what would it be then?
you can't. It
It'd
won't.
be magic. No,
Okay.
it's actually possible. Dude, Perfect had done it.
It would be hit.
Okay,
Because head.
so how you read this tree diagram
That's what my question.
is I have heads, heads, heads. That would be my first sample space. So I would write that. Heads, heads, heads. Okay? Then my second one would be heads, heads, tails. Then my third one would be heads, tails, heads.
Oh my gosh, how many are there? Is this an answer like we write?
Yes.
I don't get this.
Then I have heads, tails, tails.
I'm rude. And then tails.
Okay? Then, so that took care of it. If I landed on quarter heads the first time. Okay, some of you are going to struggle on your assignment today. That's one, because we are coming up with these crazy scenarios and not actually thinking about what we're supposed to be. And the second thing is we're not paying attention when I'm talking. Okay, so if I landed on tails, then I could land on heads, heads. So tails, heads, heads. Then it would be tails, heads, tails. I'm just following the branches of my tree diagram. Then I have, so I just did that one. So then I'd have tails, tails, heads. And my last one would be tails, tails, tails. Does everybody follow how I got those options? It's kind of like your branch. So you start here, you go down. You start here, you go down. You just kind of read your branches.
But how do you know which way to do it?
You can start anywhere. You just have to make sure that you get all of them highlighted.
It's like all the outcomes.
These are all of the outcomes. Okay, so this is the sample space. So these are the options that you can have when you flip a quarter, nickel, and dime. Questions on that? Okay. I'm going to go over to the whiteboard. And you're going to write this down on that paper. We are finding the probability. My 8th grade notebook. The probability of all tails. So if I look at my sample space, how many options do I have that are all tails? One. This one, right? Okay, so I have one option out of how many?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. So what would the decimal be?
0.1.
125,000.
125,000.
Which would be the same as? Perfect. Okay, questions on that one? So it's still our favored over our total. If I did the probability of at least 2 heads. I have to think of what at least means. At least. I can have that number or more, right? So I can have, this essentially means 2 or more heads.
What is that little thing that you wrote? Like those little lines?
Quotations.
Oh,
Okay, so then I look at my sample space. Is this one at least 2 or more heads?
yeah.
Is this one at least 2 or more?
Yes.
Is this one?
Yes.
Is this one?
No.
This
yes.
one?
Yes.
This one?
No.
This one?
No.
This one?
No.
Okay, so how many was it?
4 out of 8.
Which is equal to what?
1/2.
Which is equal to what?
0.5.
Which is equal to what?
50.
Question.
Nope, not with this kid.
Okay, next one. Probability of at most 1 tails.
Oh yeah.
At most. What does that mean? 1 or
More.
less. So the most I can have is 1 tails, but I could have less. So this means 1 or less tails.
It'd be the same thing as. Shush, what? Go ahead.
Okay? So if I look at my chart, is this one 1 or less tails?
Yeah.
Yep. Is this one 1 or less tails?
Yes.
Is this one?
Yes.
Is this one? This one? This one?
No.
This one?
No.
This one?
No.
Okay? So how many?
4.
Out of?
8.
Which is equal to?
Half. 0.5. 50%. Can you hear me?
Blake, what do you notice?
It was the same as at least 2 heads because there's only 3 options, so 2 of them are
Okay, so at least 2 heads and at most 1 tails are actually the same thing because we highlighted the exact same ones, right?
How are they
So
the
it
same
actually-
at least 2 heads?
At least 2 heads, so you have to have 2 or more heads, but you can't have more than 1 tail.
Oh!
Yep. All right, questions.